Good morning, everyone. Very excited to be here today, especially with such a great panel talking about a topic that is very close to my heart, Lightning Network and Bitcoin, and how Lightning Network can be the backbone of global remittances, in the future, and fintech innovation. My name is Nicolas Cabrera. I'm the VP of Product at Lightspark. Lightspark is a enterprise-grade Lightning business, Lightning and payments based out of LA, California, in the US. And I'm very excited to introduce a great panel of experts this morning. It's going to be a very exciting conversation. But I'd just like to start quickly with a quick story that happened to me maybe a month ago. I was back home in LA. I was in my Uber driver. I happened to be a Brazilian driver. And he was telling me how he's trying to work hard in the US to send money back to his daughter, who lives here in São Paulo. And he was telling me how hard it is, how expensive it is, how complex the whole experience is for him to get some USD, some US dollars, and then trying to send that to his daughter in São Paulo that wants to receive either Bitcoin or Brazilian real. And I was telling him, what if there would be a way today that you can send some USD today and your daughter could receive instantly money back home in Brazil. And there would be very low fees and the whole process would be pretty seamless. And he turned around driving, telling me, some magic needs to happen for that to be true. So I think today we're here to talk about, that magical solutions. And our panel today really engaged to create those magical solutions, which we are excited to talk about today. So without any further ado, maybe we can start with some quick introduction from everyone. Maybe Miles, you want to go first?
Sure. Hello. My name is Miles Suter, and I work on Bitcoin at Block Inc. I believe that Block Inc. is doing more than any company in the world to support Bitcoin. Our primary product is Cash App, which is one of the largest financial apps in the US, and we're the first public company to support Bitcoin and to support the Lightning Network. We also support a tremendous amount of the open source community via Spiral. Some of our main projects are the Lightning Developer Kit and the Bitcoin Developer Kit, which makes it a lot simpler for developers like you all to spin up new implementations, experiment, and get more products and features shipped in the Bitcoin space. I also help out across our non-custodial wallet BitKey, our mining initiative, and we have an LSP called C equals. So honored to be here. Thank you.
Facundo, you want to go next?
Hi, good morning, everybody. I'm Facundo Rodriguez from Ripio. I'm head of product. With Ripio, we are OG in the market. We've been in the market for 11 years. So we grow with the adoption of Bitcoin and blockchain technology. We have developed, as we speak with the guys in the backstage, we start processing payments using Bitcoin blockchain. And then we start growing with that, with more payments for remittance, for merchants, and building blockchain Bitcoin wallets, exchanges, and creating a whole ecosystem around blockchain technology.
Luiz?
Great. Well, first of all, thank you all for being here. I'm Luiz, the founder and CEO of BIPA, the app that many of you may know. And if you do not know, please go check our booth. Our people will be very happy to talk to you about Bitcoin, explain about the app, and explain everything about the Lightning Network that they know. But yeah, BIPA is a Bitcoin banking app in Brazil, and our goal really is to solidify Brazil and bring Brazil to everyone, every household, and your family, your cousin, your mother, your father, and just bring them a really simple experience that they can use to buy and sell Bitcoin. And Lightning really is at the root of our experience. Lightning is kind of like that spark that really changed BIPA's life in the past, because that's when users really decided to try and test the app and decided to try and download, and then they saw a whole bunch of other features. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here, and yeah, thank you.
Great. Just to deep dive a bit on that to get us going, why do you think, maybe Luis, you've been in it for quite some time, why do you think Lightning might be one of the best solution to build on, especially from a payments and money movement point of view?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think really there's different ways to look at it, and it all depends on what product you're offering and how you plan on making money. What's your real differentiator, right? I think Lightning as a network is still in its infancy. You really need the network to be integrated in many places, many apps, many services all over the world to really start making that huge difference and showing real volumes in terms of actual people buying and selling stuff on it, rather than just people testing it out or doing some transfers for very niche use cases. So I think Lightning is really the best because it's open and it's available. Everyone can download, and as more and more people download and use it, and as more and more services integrate in it, you don't need to pay anyone to integrate in Lightning. You can just download one of the Node implementations, learn how it works, hook it into your API, hook it into your service, and then bang, you've got Lightning and Bitcoin on your app and your service. Obviously, it's technically difficult, but it's possible when you can do it. If you are a programmer and you can see your ass down and read the documentation, think about a solution, you can do it. And I think this is the real huge differentiator that pays off in the long term.
One funny story, I want to hop in there just on the topic of a rising tide lifting all boats. That's really the beautiful thing about working within Bitcoin, but especially within Lightning Network and this interoperability between previously closed walled gardens. Probably 3 years ago, I got a ping from our legal team wanting to issue a cease and desist letter to this Brazilian app called BIPA. And I took a look into it, and I was like, oh, this is awesome. They're built on Pix, they do Bitcoin buy sell, and they have Lightning. And pixel by pixel, they use the exact Cash App designs. And I think it was just 2 of you at the time, no design team, and I said, that is awesome. If you see patterns that are working, if you're growing the network, it helps our business too. And I said, no, dude, open source design, it's an open network. Let's let this whole thing grow together and get better together. So it's awesome to be here in Brazil with you, and I hope you guys are finding success.
Thank you. Thank you for not taking that cease and desist letter.
It's an open community, yeah? Facundo, anything to add?
I think I'm a developer, and I think Lightning Network is a really elegant solution, because when Bitcoin and blockchain started, it's like, okay, don't trust, verify. And you are opening channels without the need of the trust. It's like a contract between parts that can transact, make a lot of transactions and use Bitcoin as the settlement layer, but keeping the spirit of this technology that is verified, and you are opening channel through all the world with different companies, with different people. I think it's a really elegant solution.
I think I agree, coming from Lightspark, really think that this technology can be pretty unique, especially from a payment point of view. At the same time, the question that I'm getting asked a lot is, Lightning's been around for many years now, and hasn't necessarily been super mainstream yet. So any thought on why, and what are you doing in your different businesses to make that mainstream? Miles?
I think that, like anything in this space, people are susceptible to getting ahead of themselves, overhyping things. And with Lightning, I think that was certainly part of that. We found a solution, people congealed around it, and worked to build it out. But building on Bitcoin is hard. Building on Lightning is super, super hard. And it's a result of really intentional design and security choices and trade-offs. And I think that's one thing that Bitcoiners do a better job than other teams in the space, is that there is no free lunch, and Bitcoin chose to be really robust on the base layer. Do less, lower the attack surface, et cetera, et cetera. And so with that, I think expectations kind of crashed to a trough of disillusionment for a little bit of time. But I think as we just keep building and keep moving forward, Lightning is here. And in terms of like what we're seeing within the app, we're seeing consistent growth month over month, people using Bitcoin, which is ultimately the world we want to get it to. And so I think that's a really beautiful thing. What these design choices have enabled is a lot of different layer 2 approaches, which we're starting to see more of recently, and we're starting to see the benefit of Lightning as this connective tissue between these various ecosystems. So for example, I've been spending a lot of time, something that's really piqued my intellectual curiosity is eCash, whether within Fedi or another protocol that I'm really interested in is Cashew. And Cashew is built solely on Lightning. It's instantly interoperable with any other Lightning app, but then you're in this different world with different trust assumptions, with different functionality, and also it becomes a separate parallel scaling layer that people can choose to opt into, but you can always unilaterally exit and take it to another part of this ecosystem. So I think the difference we're seeing between something like the Ethereum space is they don't have this common language between these various L2s. It's a terrible, terrible user experience, and the fragmentation is really something that I don't know how they're going to overcome. And I think that's one of the beautiful things we have with our slow, deliberate process within Bitcoin scaling is this universal language that maybe it's not going to work for non-custodial payments at 100 million users or 1 billion users at this time. People are still innovating, and maybe we'll get there. But until then, it's a really beautiful highway between these other options. And we're seeing adoption and usage increase across a number of these spheres.
I really like this concept of using Lightning as the connected tissue across all of those networks. Luiz?
Yeah, I think like I like to look at it in the way like Lightning, like Miles was saying. Like I think there's layers to protocols. People are going to build on top of new protocols that come out. Like Lightning is one of them. You can see Cashew or eCash being, just building on top of things that exist out there. And I think it really starts with Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is this like core protocol that's out there, and people have been using it, and it's kind of like has been really successful, right? And in its lifetime, like probably over 100 million people all over the world use it. But we've got many, many billions, right? We've got like more than 3 billion people all over the world. Like there's many more to go. So when we're looking at Bitcoin and its use case right now as a store of value, right? This as a store of value is something you do in your own personal life, in your own private life. You buy Bitcoin, you store it, and you put it out there. When we're like talking about Lightning Network, which is more of a payments kind of thing, you really have that very strong chicken and egg problem, right? You need to have that place who has Lightning integrated so that you can go there and pay for it. And really, it starts to only make a lot of bring a lot of value once you reach a certain growth within the network or growth within a certain region, a certain area where it adds a lot of value there. And if you just take a look at what we've got right now, which is MasterCard and Visa, it took quite a while for them to get to this point where we are, to build a network and build all these companies all over the world that integrate the technology and allow people to buy with a credit card and with a debit card wherever they are in the world these days. Everywhere you go, you can just tap it and buy. And I think these for Lightning to scale really on a payments level, and everyone be like, oh well, this is successful. It's gonna take a while when people are gonna only when it gets to that point where you've got a credit card like you see now with MasterCard and Visa, that you've got the card, you can go anywhere and tap it and pay. Then people are like, oh, MasterCard and Visa is so cool. But they've been building and working towards this network for a while. And I think Lightning obviously can leapfrog that, especially because It's open, everyone can download. You don't have to go to a really huge and lengthy and boring process to integrate into it. You have to just write code. Although it's technically difficult, it's open, it's the knowledge that it's open out there, and it's well documented by many, many developers and people. So this is like, as we, I think as time goes on, just people will integrate, the network will become stronger, but we need the fact, we need the builders and we need the users. When we need is, you can't just leapfrog and become the biggest payment network in the world before, just going through the really hard and lengthy process of, building and getting it wrong and improving and just iterating over and over and over again.
What I think is like, at the beginning, as any new technology or innovation, we need to put the different approach, the technology in front of everything to differentiate. Now, I think we are finishing the awareness phase of this technology, and we need to start to focus on the use cases, on the experience, and start thinking in the end goal of this technology and the end goal of the people and the users has with this technology. Everybody uses internet today, but not everybody knows how HTTPS works. It needs to happen the same with Bitcoin. The end goal is like, okay, I want to send money the cheapest way and fastest way possible. Which is the best way? A wire, ACH, SEPA transactions, Lightning Network. So I think at the beginning, I take guilt of this because I'm a developer too. We want to put the technology in front because, look, this is different, this is better because we have all these things behind it. But the important thing, now we have, I think, a good amount of awareness of the technology, of the Bitcoin, of the asset in the mainstream. Now we need to think in the experience and the end goal, the use cases of these. So the people will send money. They don't care what is behind. It's Visa, it's Lightning Network. They don't care. So we have like a case to present is, okay, you want to send money. I have reais here. I want to send euros or any other coins. I don't care what is behind it as an end users. I want the fastest and cheapest way. And I think we have that solution with Lightning Network. And we need to start working on the solution. And for example, I think everybody here uses Lightning Network. But the first step to using Lightning Network is having Bitcoin. And something that we are working with Lightspark is like, okay, do you have Brazilian reais? Okay, I want to send euros to Spain, to Europe. You can send it through Lightning Network without noticing. So I choose reais, I send it, and they receive the euros, and everything behind is what we are building with Lightspark and Ripio. It's like, okay, you don't have to care about it. We handle that. The infrastructure handle that. This technology ensures you reliable, fast, and cheap transactions without noticing.
Yeah, and I also think it's really important that we're honest about the competition that is currently in place and what we're going up against. I entered Brazil across the Paraguay border. And after I got my passport stamped, I had to leave the bus, walk a little while, go meet the bus. And I accidentally went out the wrong gate. And I'm on the street, and I'm like, where's the bus? But I decided to take a deep breath, look around. I saw a guy selling coconuts next to me. And I said, wow, it's really hot here. I'd love a coconut. I don't have my wallet with me. All I have is my phone. And I asked for one coconut. It's got to be like $1. And I said, tarjeta? Like, you take credit card? You take Apple Pay? And he's like, yeah. I got this little, it looks like an old square reader, like our V1 square reader. And I was able to just go, ba-ding, and get my coconut. And so Visa and MasterCard are really good. At Square, we started as a point-of-sale company, And whether I've done a lot of traveling over the last 4 years, and whether I'm in the hills of Mexico buying a $1 bottle of water or a coconut at the Paraguay border, the legacy payments networks are everywhere at this point. There's been a big ramp up over the last 4 years. And so competing with that is going to be hard, especially when the fees are waived for the micro merchants in these developing countries for some time, or is it just the ease and convenience as a consumer for me? I mean, that experience a couple days ago it always blows my mind when that happens. And so it's nothing against Lightning. I think just it's important to keep our eyes on the mission and working on like what is the biggest opportunity in front of us. And I do see Lightning kind of starting more as connective tissue between disparate financial systems that live as islands and can't communicate all the time. They can't communicate on the weekends. And I think I think almost like the institution-to-institution use case makes a lot of sense before more people have Bitcoin and there's more desire to spend it, et cetera, et cetera. People often ask me, when will we turn on Lightning acceptance in the US at merchants? And in the US, I still think there's more of a store of value use case before payments, before unit of account. And so the first product that we built for merchants was to dollar cost average your daily sales into Bitcoin. You select a percentage, 1 to 10%. And we're seeing a lot of people adopt that. River put out, shout out Alex Leishman, River Financial in the US, put out a great Bitcoin for Businesses report earlier this year. And it's not to say I don't think businesses will accept Bitcoin. I think we need to be eyes open about what we're competing against on user experience. We need to make customers not even think about it, and we need to make it even better than what is, to be honest, like a pretty delightful payments experience of using my phone to buy a coconut on the Paraguay border.
I want to add something to that, because usually they compare Lightning Network and Bitcoin payments with credit cards or debit cards. And they say, okay, Bitcoin is slow because I put my credit card and it's instantly paid. No, because you have chargeback. So the immutability of that transaction is 30 days after. So it is slower than blockchain. It's really slower. And for the merchant also, because you have the settlement with debit card is T+1. So you are getting your money the day after. And if there's a credit card, let's say the best case scenario is T+18 days. So they are slower than blockchain.
No, I really like this idea of really abstracting all of the complexity to be able to compete to those networks. And maybe if you have some advice, maybe Luiz, on all of us that want to build, on Bitcoin, build on Lightning, we know the complexity. We want to have as many users to be able to benefit from all those great use cases and seamless, magical experiences. But it's not easy to build on Lightning. Yeah. So any advice, for anyone that wants to build and use Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, you can, you don't need to be a developer to kind of like build on it, like integrate it into your own code and things like that. But you can run Lightning just as a user to learn about it. You can go on GitHub, go on the internet and read the documentation. I'm sure you can, like with these days with LLMs, you can translate it pretty quickly if it's not in Portuguese. And you can try many different apps out there. You can try BIPA. BIPA, our goal is really to make it simple and to bring, what's the best, what's the best in Lightning for you, and we'll continue doing that. But I mean, just put some time aside and just do a bit of reading. Yeah, try to run on your computer. I promise you will not explode. You'll be fine. And just be curious. I mean, and also ask questions. There's plenty of people out there who are willing to help, and there's plenty of even the LLMs can help at this point. Like I'm sure they've been trained on Lightning, some of the Lightning docs as well. Yeah, Just be curious. That's what I would say to anyone who wants to learn more and integrate into Lightning. And like, I totally agree with them. Focus on improving the experience. If you actually more and more serious, you're going to bring it to production. You need to understand, how the user is going to do, how you can bring that in a simpler way, and explain how the network works in a simpler way.
And a couple closing thoughts from me as well. I think, one, we need to keep working on non-custodial Lightning if this thing is going to be viable in the long run and do that dream. I wanted to give Lightspark some credit for taking a lot of existing primitives, mixing them around that are all open source, and trying something new with Spark. I need to look more into it, but when I talked to my open source team, they thought that's pretty rad. It's battle tested, existing things, not net new, et cetera. So looking forward to trying that. Two, I think it's really important we as a community understand that the risks of bifurcating the network, and we don't want to do that. So let's be careful about adding things to the protocol that could maybe split it in a certain way. And on that note, as well as there's innovation looking into things like stablecoins on the network, I think we need to look into the power that these stablecoin issuers have on chains like Ethereum and a lot of the history that's going on there. Because if there's a contentious fork, these stablecoin issuers will essentially override users because there's so much value locked up in these coins that whichever fork they choose will likely be the one that continues moving forward. And so as we go into this new world, we need to look at other examples from this industry and really like the dangers that come from giving fork choice to established regulated companies that might not have the like overall industry or users' interests aligned. And so that's my 2 cents in departing.
Not too much to add to everything here, but I think we have a really good technology, battle tested. We need to bring this to the everyday use cases. As I said, if you look at the white paper or the code of the blockchain, it was designed to be that, magic internal money. So money needs to flow. We need to create use cases. We need to create experience to bring this technology to the everyday use.
Great, thank you. I think we had time. Hope you find, all of our passion about Lightning super exciting. Can't wait for all of you to test Lightning if you haven't tested yet. It's pretty magical. Thank you.